All right, we're off. Cassio going with top first. He's run both top and magnet. And then we have Tokyo going with magnet. I think you guys have probably seen enough races to know, kind of the difference between the top and the magnet routes here. So, I mean, really, they're small enough that we shouldn't see a huge difference between, their 8 robots, assuming they both execute well. We have Tokyo going into his first proto fight here. Bonks into him there. Solid fight, though. I mean, especially considering the bonk, that wasn't too bad. In magnet stage, you really want to pay attention to your health. It's super important to get to the magnet boss fight with as much health as possible. So Tokyo's already taken a couple hits here, although he's getting some health drops, so he might end up being okay. And he goes the top route there to collect the health, so that's good. If you do the stage properly, you can take 4 hits from Magnet Man, which is, if you do the fight right, good enough for any pattern to actually have enough health. If you take any unnecessary damage in the stage at all, Cassio going for all the single block slides there, so that shows you the type of racer he is. He doesn't hold back. Cassio, that's what happens when you don't hold back though too. He just misses that top jump, probably by a single frame. I think if he jumped a frame later, he'd have been fine. But that death costs between 35 and 40 seconds, so he's got a little bit of a hole to dig out of right now. So the magnet fight is really challenging. This is probably the hardest part of this route compared to top first. Tokyo has learned Fatso's method of fighting magnet. He doesn't have any more health to take another damage boost, but just in time for that, magnet gives him a couple jumps at the end there, and he ends up with a really clean fight. Cassio waiting it out the second time. In comparison to the magnet buster fight, the top buster fight is actually really simple. Basically, your goal is to get a 3-cycle fight here. You can get 15 hits in over the course of 3 cycles, and you only need 14, so you can even make a mistake in this one, and you'll still be fine. Cassio using some damage boosts here to make the fight go pretty simple, and then just mashes, so clean 3-cycle for him. He didn't miss any hits. See what Tokyo does with the bees here. This section's a little harder in Magnet first. With Shadow Blade, this is a simpler section. And a little bit faster, too. This third bead with Rush Coil, he's going for a fast strat there, and he gets it, so... Despite being a novice with this game, Tokyo hasn't skimped on learning strats, because his Magnet fight and his first screen of Hardman are both, pretty close to what you'd expect of a top-tier runner of this game. And he's gonna kill the monkey. He does. Takes an extra jump to do so, but he gets it. Very nice screen from Cassio there, right before the proto fight. And Tokyo gonna go for the D boost here? He does. Only 1 slide though, and not 2, but Cassio's mashing is fantastic. He kills Proto like a full jump before the right wall. Really, really good fight there. Man, this movement, this is probably the best matchup we've seen in the tournament so far as 2 players playing at this kind of level. Usually it's 1 person that can play at this pace, and you have somebody else who is a little bit slower. But yeah, we're seeing some really good movement from both of these guys. So Cassio going for these top spin parachute jumps. Okay. He gets a few of them, turns back on a few as well, but from a perspective of racing this game, if you do them that well, you're still saving time on Magnet first, so does really well there. Tokyo gets frozen in the Hardman fight. He just missed being underneath him. He was just a little bit off to the side. But still a really good fight. Tokyo teleporting out of 4.6, that's really good. It's probably 35 pace or something like that. Alright, now Tokyo going to top. Top becomes a little bit easier and quicker when you have magnets. It makes quick work of both cats. Although using magnets on the cats is not at all free. Oh, he goes for the little second D-boost skip there and just misses it. Man, now we have Cassio doing the first screen of Gemini, which is like probably the hardest single screen in the 8 robots. Actually going really, really well for him right now. Yeah, that's a... Oh, he got hit at the end. That was a really clean first screen other than that. So we should see Tokyo switch to Magnet here. The cats take 5 hits from the Magnet. Oh, he got a Magnet eaten. See, that's kind of tricky. You gotta be really careful about how you use your Magnets against those cats, because if you do it wrong, you'll get one of your Magnets eaten. He does save a Magnet on that middle guy. Okay, perfect. So he had enough to clear both of the cats. So ended up working out really well for him. And single block slides from Tokyo as well. Now we'll see if Tokyo decides to go for the top jump. That will go a long way towards evening this race out. He goes for it and he gets it. Gets it easy too. Alright, Cassio in one of the scarier sections of the game right here. Death here is not too punishing. In his case, I'd be more worried about a death because I've already taken one. You never want to inch towards a game over in a race. Alright. He only cut out one slide from that entire section. That was a really, really good section. Using Shadow Blades to full effect there. Tokyo making quick work of Top Man. I didn't see the fight, but it goes a lot faster with Hard Knuckle. There's a lot of different ways you can do this fight with Shadow Blade, because like when you hit one of the clones, it resets the invincibility frames on the other clone. So you can do like really quick shots back and forth between the two, and there's like some alternate strats you'll see people use with Shadow Blade there. Everybody seems to have their own fight there. Tokyo gets hit by the dozer there. The dozers have like notoriously bad hitboxes, and it's really easy to bonk one of them. The problem with that in this stage is that this next screen, like you're killing a ton of enemies, and a lot of them you're killing like right in their face, and so when they like drop something, it's really easy to like collect the health and have it eat your jump if you're missing health. And so like you want to try to come into this screen with full health, but it's a minor thing, but one of those things as a runner like you really notice. He didn't get any health drops there, so ended up going pretty well. So Cassio's going to have to use Buster on this screen of Needle. You can see him kind of struggling with the cannons there. When Tokyo gets there, you should have a really easy time with it using Magnet. Just so he's having a really easy time with these parachutes here. Like, not having to do any turnbacks like Cassio had to do. Really clean, easy section. By the way, switching to Gemini Laser right before the needle press there will ensure that you don't get hit by it, because it like buffers its movement forward. Alright. Tokyo manages the shadow fight just fine. Doesn't lose any topspin. And he is moving on. So now, like, the worry in Magnet first, in RTA and races, is you're doing Gemini 5th. And then this is like kind of the roadblock to a lot of people that are trying to PB, like in Tokyo's range of PBs with Magnet first. Oh, the Nadua! He's got to be careful. He dies in one more needle hit. Ugh, rough. And now he doesn't have enough laser for this fight. This is a nightmare scenario. So Shadow Blade does 2 damage. He'll be able to take half of Needleman's health here. Wow, really good first screen from Tokyo so far as well. So he's going to opt for Buster instead of... Buster does 1 and Shadow does 2. But at least you have range with Buster. But he's fighting him from like right on top of him, so if he's going to fight him this close, he should be using Shadow Blade. A lot of people don't know that Shadow does 2 damage though. No! That's rough. That is a really rough fight. Game Over at least saves him from having to do the Buster fight. That's... oh man. So the other thing about Magnet first is you get the Hardman E-Tank in Screen 2, and so when you get to Needleman stage or anywhere else you might need it, you actually have an E-Tank just in case of a, like, you know, the nightmare scenario like that. Anyway, like I was saying about Tokyo, like when you're in his range, like mid 36, a lot of people kind of struggle because you have this like really reset heavy section, the Gemini single blocks, and you have it in stage 5, like 10 minutes into the run. So we'll see how this goes for Tokyo here. Opting for, as we saw from Cassio, pretty much going for every slide here. See, that's just a rough section. And I've just seen so many, you know, players, again, like in that mid-36 PB range, just have a lot of trouble with this section. But you always got Rush Marine as a backup. That death probably costs like 20 seconds. And not only that, but you get to pick up the 1-up and the E-Tank here, going Rush Marine. So it gives you a little bit of comfort that you're not going to game over. Oh man, that was a little close too. Cassio having no issues the second time with the needle fight. But yeah, so like if you're doing top first and you die a couple times to like the shadow section, a lot of times it's smart just to use Rush Marine there just to pick up the extra 1-up. You got to be, in races, you always have to be conscious of the possibility of a game over. A game over makes it really hard to win a race, whereas, you know, you can absorb a death or two, and that, you know, depending on where you die, it can cost you less than a minute with like 2 deaths. But the third death might cost you, you know, a minute and a half, like it did for Cassio there. Man, Cassio's still not holding back, going for some dangerous slides there. Again, we see Cassio's just gorgeous proto fights. That's some excellent mashing right there. So Tokyo's through the most dangerous parts. Needle, Snake, Spark. I mean, we saw Cassio take two deaths. Excuse me, in Needle, but he should feel a lot more comfortable. Basically, like once you're through Gemini, you should be feeling a lot more comfortable about your run typically. At least until you get into Dock Robots, which are impossible. Okay, so we see Tokyo here using Magnet, and we see Cassio using Rush Jet. Those are, like, these two screens side by side are, like, screens you can't do in other routes. Particularly, like, if they swapped routes, like, that's that's pretty much, like, just, like, giving an example of what the other player can't do. And then Cassio allowed to use Shadow Blade here for the Magnet fight, which really makes it a lot simpler. He's hoping for a shield. No matter what, you're hoping for shields, whether you're using Buster or not. That pattern's a lot slower. Well, I say a lot. It's like a little over a second slower. Tokyo gets by that second Stomper without getting hit twice. That's... Can't miss a slide there or else that guy will ding you again. Let's see what kind of fight we have here. Looks like Tokyo's learned the faster needle fight there. Cassio's first 2 hits were a little slow, and so his third hit he couldn't get him when Needle was about to take his like second action. And so if you're fast enough in the fight, like there's no guesswork. You can always hit Needle Man, and you don't have to like wait to see what he does. If you're a little slow, you have to either just shoot and hope, or like wait out his pattern. But Tokyo takes the early D boost on the Needle and has plenty of time. So basically, these routes sync up after Hardman stage. So Cassio going to be going to Snake 7th as well. He doesn't have to. He can go Spark 7th, Snake 8th, but customary usually for runners to go Snake 7th. And so the amount of time he's behind Tokyo is basically like roughly a full stage. Solid dozers there for Cassio. And then once again, we'll pay attention to his proto fight here. Not the bees! That's so fast. When you kill him before he lands on the bottom there, that's a really fast fight. There's like, you could probably count on one hand the number of players that play this game that have a faster proto fight than that. Very good hard man fight for Cassio. He got what Tokyo was trying to do earlier with the skipping the damage stun. Alright, Tokyo jumping off the top of the screen here to reduce lag. Doesn't spawn the Choni clouds. Very good. Basically, if you jump off the top of the screen, it like puts Mega Man's hitbox at the bottom. So when there's a low cloud stack there, if you jump too high, it'll trigger it and it causes extra lag, which was pointed out to me by the dual world record holder, Choni1. I think each one costs like 7 frames or something like that. But one of those things that, like, you know, you should always pay attention to in games is, you know, small time saves like that. Tokyo going on to the easiest Robot Master, Spark. Basically, he's only just taken that one Gemini death, otherwise a very good 8 robots for him. Cassio gets the two frame jump over the ledge there. Tokyo probably going to swap to Magnet here. Yeah, this is pretty common. You can do this stage really with Buster or Magnet. The amount of time is pretty similar. He did waste an extra Magnet here. So he's either going to hope for a drop, or he's going to have to switch to Shadow Blade to kill the junk block. The absolute fastest way you can do Sparkman stage is to switch to Magnet, and he got a refill, so he's good. Is to like actually kill the Dozer with Magnet, and then hope to get a small drop or two. Oh man, gets another large refill. That one he probably did not want. And then let's see what kind of snake pattern Cassio gets. Gets the worst one. Basically, he can do like one of 3 things. He can shoot snakes from the middle, he can shoot snakes from the left, or he can not shoot snakes at all. And you want him to not shoot snakes at all. If you shoot snakes from the left like Cassio got, it's the worst pattern. The difference between the two is probably, like, again, like a little over a second. Tokyo gets the best Sparkman pattern. There's a little bit better way to fight that pattern, where you can like end dead center in the middle of the platform. But still, yeah, good 8 robots for Tokyo. Sub 18 kill. And we'll see what Doc Robot order he chooses here. Per Mr. Swede, I think like 54% of the runners in this tournament have started with Doc Gemini. And Tokyo is no exception. That'll add to the data, actually, because this is Tokyo's first race. So these magnet timings are pretty specific. This like, if you had to ask me like what the hardest screen to learn in the game is, I'd probably say this one. Like, it's either this or Gemini for screen. There's just a lot of memorization on like magnet timings, and you're basically just shooting blind at stuff that hasn't appeared on screen yet. And like the way that there's not really landmarks in that screen. Like, it's kind of hard to like pick out where you are. A lot of the terrain kind of looks the same. Oh, Tokyo's not going over the top. What is this? Doesn't want to save 30 frames. Cassio gets the easiest pattern to fight, the one jump pattern. Oh, he botches it. Good going, Cassio. Cassio done with 8 robots. Looking like he's probably about a minute 50 or so, minute 40 behind Tokyo. So he's hoping for some help to catch up. By the way, this bracket that they're in is absolutely brutal because you have Tiki and Cassio in Tokyo, and only 2 of them are going to be able to advance. And all 3 of them with PBs in a really like kind of similar zone. Like Cassio and Tiki both with really low 36s, and then like Tokyo with a mid 36. And any of those 3 could not advance. Just because Tokyo has improved so much since the tournament has started. And Cassio, oh, he almost manages to do the screen without fire being dropped, but he got the last one at the end. Cassio misses the egg jump there. Otherwise, good first half of Doc Gemini. I didn't pay attention to Tokyo's setup here. I don't have sound. I don't know if you guys have sound on Tokyo, but should be able to tell when you get into this next screen whether he got the music skip or not. Yeah, that section will be going a lot slower, so he obviously got it. Music despawn saves about 3 seconds in Doc Shadow, maybe 2.5, but it's pretty significant. It's worth the extra set of time to get it, like by a wide margin. What the heck is Cassio doing? Did he not use the rush yet, or did he get knocked down from the top? Whatever it was, he salvaged a very unusual looking underwater screen without dying. So. All right. Something to pay attention to in Doc Shadow is your health. Tokyo is doing fine here, but this is one of like when you're picking up this game, this is like probably the easiest stage to just like run out of health and die in. Oh baby, yeah, he knows his magnet timings. That was a very, very clean parachute section there. Okay, let's see if Tokyo gets the double hit on the Doc Heat fight here. Basically, like, ooh, we got the fire slide, nice. Basically, if you can hit him on the first frame where he becomes vulnerable, he didn't get it. Cassio's gonna have to demonstrate later. Sliding under that pillar of fire that he did at the start of the fight, though, is, first of all, your movement needs to be good, but also you have to have a good subpixel. So it's like, it's a bit lucky to get it, but it also, like, requires some skill. Cassio had a really nice eyeball section there. Managing to eliminate the third eyeball to remove lag, and like jumping into one of the eyeballs to like take damage earlier. I think the only other person I've seen go for that strat was Hello? I've seen it once before, but it's definitely faster than current world record strats. I thought I saw a slide cancel from Tokyo there, trying to set up Rush Coil and take the damage boost, which is a pretty clever solution to that. I may have... Oh, okay. He's good. Maybe I saw it wrong, and I missed, but it looked like it was a slide cancel there. An alternative to this section using Magnet, you can use Gemini on the Hammer Joes, so you have enough magnets for this section. Because Cassio running out of magnets has to deboost there. But fastest potential way is using Magnet and just hoping for a couple drops. Alright, let's see if Cassio can demonstrate here. No. What are you doing, Cassio? What are you doing? Oh my god, that E-Tank. Okay, well, we didn't see this most beautiful display of Doc Heatman fights today. Okay, so Tokyo jumping off the top of the screen there, again, to reduce lag, also to save ammo on Rush Jet. You can despawn dragonflies if you jump at the right time, which it looks like Tokyo wasn't doing quite effectively. There's more time to save in that screen than you think, but it's also, like, you have to learn, like, where the dragonflies spawn in. Oh, apparently Tiki gave Tokyo the slide cancel strat, so credit where credit is due. Cassio going for the old strat for that Springer room, where you summon Rush to the right and then mash the blob down, and then resummon Rush when he goes away. It's slower, but it saves you health, and it's usually a little safer. You're not, like... The screen can go wrong in less ways than if you try to take the D-boost. So, both players doing the same Robot Master order. The old reverse C. Shoutouts to Legend of Zelda. Alright, so let's see if Cassio gets these Dragonfly despawns. Not the first one. No. Oh, man. But yeah, that's like... When you start to, like... Because, like, when you look at these two players' movement, it's both really... Like, it's really good. And their strats mostly, like, they're going for the top-tier strats. But then, you know, you look and you see, like, there's just, like, really small things here and there that make the difference between being, you know, a 36 runner and a 35 runner or whatever. I would actually honestly consider both of these guys like 35 runners. They probably just haven't got the PB yet, but just gotta start looking for those little frame saves. Despawning all the dragonflies probably saves a little over a second. Tokyo wisely not going for the Darkspark music despawn. So there is one safe pixel where you can get the despawn and not die, and so it's... I hesitate to advise people to look for it, because like it saves a second and a half. If you die there, you lose about a minute 10. And so if you're like really good at picking out pixels, then it's free to go for. If you're not, I mean, it's easy to make a mistake and think that you have a pixel that you don't, and then a death there is like the worst thing imaginable. There's only a couple deaths in this game. Like there's a few deaths in this game that cost you over a minute, and that's one of them. Oh, really good start to the Quickman fight for Tokyo, but it kind of got away from him here. You saw him shoot a snake the wrong way, his second to last snake. And the reason why that happened is he tried to turn and shoot from the ground. But in this game, it takes like 6 frames to turn around. And especially in a laggy area, that might be like 8 or 9 frames. Ooh, frame perfect jump up from Tokyo. Very nice. And so you always, like, if you want to turn and shoot, always jump and turn. Because when you jump, you can turn, like, it immediately. Like, the very next frame. So you can basically jump, turn, and shoot all at the same time. Whereas if you try to do it from the ground, you're going to have a bad time. Really good metal fight for Cassio. He got hit, but, like, where he killed him and he didn't miss any magnets. That's... I think he was 1 pixel too far. It's interesting to see strats change over time, because, like, Tokyo going with the Buster strats in the first screen of top, and, like, definitely, like, I think everybody did Gemini Laser there until Ohan's 34:57 world record, where he used Buster on the first screen. And now, like, it's really, really rare to see Gemini on that first screen, but before that was, like, all you would see. Cassio having a heck of a fight! Oh, man. Quickman, he's mean. That's a tough fight. You gotta be careful. Like, so, I say this a lot. Like, when you're trying to learn to fight quick, like, you want to try to deboost off his boomerangs because they do 2, and his body does 8. That said, like, once you get quick enough at the fight, like, you can deboost off of whatever you want, because you'll probably just kill him before he can kill you. So, like, there's really 2 ways you can go about this fight. You can just get good at, like, hitting Quickman. So, bad first turtle for Tokyo. Really good. Best second turtle. Best third turtle. Slowest fourth turtle. Okay, he had below average turtles here. But he does die in the middle, so I guess I'd say that's average. Again, a really good proto fight for Cassio. Shoutouts to IBM Computing. Wily 2 is a pretty straightforward stage. There's actually like a lot of extra slides you can go for that pretty much nobody does. But like taking at face value, the stage is pretty simple. That said, the timing on a couple of these jumps is tricky just because it's tempting to want to jump earlier. Like especially with the lag involved, it's easy to jump early and like end up on a bottom platform. And that can waste you some time, but the stage itself doesn't have a whole lot going on. As long as you can kill the bees and not get knocked into pits. Cassio standing on a little like ledge there. Like the top of that barrier you can actually stand on. It's weird. Tokyo setting up for the easy double kill. Doesn't get a clean up press on his D-pad. He catches a diagonal, and that's sometimes, most of the time, spells death for your quick kill. Gotta be careful to not die here. Like, he shouldn't need to E-tank, but if he dies, he gets sent back to the beginning of Wily 2, and that would like really tighten this race up, but he knows what he's doing. Alright, let's see what kind of turtles Cassio gets. Worst first turtle. Worst second turtle. Oh man, this might be the legendary worst possible turtles. That's the worst third turtle. Oh my goodness. No way. Oh, that's only the second worst. Rip. I thought we were gonna see the legend. So all left turtles for Cassio. That's horrendous luck. Horrendous luck. The difference between Tokyo's turtles and Cassio's turtles is probably like 6 seconds. In terms of like just pure RNG. Okay, Cassio almost shows what happens when bees knock you into pits, but managed to handle it okay. Gets a good kill of Polarity's bee there. See, so Cassio demonstrating what happens when you jump too early on these, and you end up falling down to the bottom and have to re-menu. Thank you for demonstrating that, Cassio. Much appreciated. So, Tokyo into refights. I love the Mega Man 3 refights. I think they're the best refights. The stage itself is like really interesting and like hard to optimize. And then the refights are just like this fast-paced thing where you just easy double for Cassio. But yeah, you just go and just kill bosses very quickly. And because of the way the refights work and like wanting to be towards the teleporter, like you fight them differently than you do in the stages, so it feels kind of fresh. See the E-tanks here. Yeah. Tokyo with the E-tank, rather than like going and chasing down Snake Man's health. Yeah, so Tokyo being very careful to not have his topspin drained there. Getting outside of Shadow Man's hitbox and then turning and facing him so that he doesn't get it drained. Did a great job with that. In both fights, actually, he demonstrated the mastery of the Shadow Man fight. Interesting hardman fight for Tokyo there. Runs out of magnets. Typically what you want to do there, all bosses take 4 damage from their own weapon. And so like if you run out of magnets, you actually want to switch to hard knuckle. Hard knuckle is a little easier to soft lock the hard man fight with than any of the other weapons. So you need to know what you're doing. But if he only has 1 hit left, you're not going to soft lock. So basically, you just need to not kill him while you're frozen. And so because like you switch like right after he freezes you, you have a ton of time to kill him before that happens. So yeah, in the refights, you use Gemini against both Gemini Man and Needle, and then you use Shadow Blade against both Magnet and Spark. So you cut out a couple menus. So they're both in the refights for a short period of time. But yeah, Tokyo just has 2 quick kills to go to close this race out. Looking at about a mid 37. Mid 37s. We'll see if they're good enough to get out of Group L. For this race, yes. Oh, 1 snake short on the quick kill for Tokyo there. So he's going to switch to Shadow Blade and finish him off. It's interesting that I'm seeing, like, it's really common for runners to want to pull Hardman forward in that refight. There's a pretty easy setup where you can fight him just, like, straight from the door. Oh, no, Nadua. Oh, you tried to get him to... So, like... A lot of people don't know that. Like, even if a Gemini laser is out, Gemini, if he's running on the ground, if you push B, he'll jump. And so what he tried to do, like, while the laser was bouncing around, is like actually make Gemini jump into the laser, which can save you like 2 or 3 seconds if you do that. Same thing for the Crashman fight with Hard Knuckle. Like, if you accidentally miss a Hard Knuckle and it's, like, traveling right above him, you can push B to make Crashman jump up into it if he's on the ground. GG Tokyo. 37-31. RaceBot has him at 37-33. It's a really good race time. About a minute off of this PB. That's solid. Oh, please tell me that's not a game over for Cassio. I think he's got another life. This is his last life, but game over on the last boss of refights is probably the worst death you can take in this game. So luckily that was not the case here. But good enough, Cassio is through. I don't have trouble navigating the ledges. 3-tile high jumps in Mega Man 3 are tricky because it's like, if you're trying to go fast, doing a full A jump is just a little slow. Like, you catch a little bit more air than you need. And so you want to cut, like, your full jump just a little bit short. But if you cut it short a little bit more than that, then you're just not going to make it up the ledge. And it feels different than it does in, like, Mega Man 4 through 6, for instance. Cassio with a very easy Wily Machine kill. So this is the first race of Group L. Some groups are completely done already, and Group L is just getting underway. Tokyo putting himself in really good position here, because this was a really important match, just because of how close these runners are in their PBs. And, like, for Cassio, if he wants to advance, he's probably going to need to beat Tiki. Ooh, nice. He gets the Gamma quick kill, too, with the snakes. So 39-41 on his splits, 39-46 on RaceBot. GG to Cassio. Races are hard. Like, that's just the way it goes sometimes. but there's still a lot of matches left to be played. And if Cassio plays at his best for the remaining matches that he has left, then he has a really good shot at advancing. So really good talent on display here for Mega Man 3. We have two people who definitely belong in brackets, and it's possible one of them will not get through, but most people with like mid 36 or better in this game, you'll probably see get into brackets. But yeah, thanks to both runners. That was fun to watch. I enjoyed that one. This is kind of like a preview of what you'll probably see in bracket play. So it was nice to see that in the first round. Because in the first round, you're typically seeing people with a spread of 4 or 5 minutes between their PBs, and this just so happens where we had a couple people of like really similar talent. But yeah, you can see like how just a couple of deaths in the wrong place can make a really close matchup not close at all. The game over at the end of Needle Man stage, again, that was probably like a minute and a half death. Add that to the top man death, which was about 40 seconds, and that's the difference in their times. It's just that. Let's see, what do we have coming up next? We have Javeth versus Triwave at 6:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, so about an hour and a half. We have our next Mega Man 3 race here on Speed Gaming. So make sure to tune in for that. And I think that about covers it for me. Thanks to Fiesel for running the restream as always.